Hi, my name is Gloria Cutter-Short, and my debate is going to be focusing on how environmental considerations have to take precedent over economic developmental considerations. So, there is often this notion that environmental considerations are based solely on decreasing our carbon footprints or, doing something simple as taking shorter showers or, flushing the toilet less. But honestly, this is a juvenile approach to a larger conversation. When thinking about the various environmental things to consider, we can rely on the precedents of those such as Norman Borlaug, the father of the Green Revolution, or even Jane Jacobs, the mother of sustainable cities and what cities should actually look like, when thinking about how the environment plays a vital and huge role in our global cities. Also, in how we can further ensure to build sustainable cities while also making them economically stable. So historically, in nations and global cities, we have been able to see how a lack of consideration for the environment has had detrimental effects on global citizens, public health, which furthermore affects the economy. A great example of this is the disposing of waste in Ghana and how that happens to affect the public health there. So this disposing of electronic waste in a way that is cost effective for the United States is basically for the United States and European countries, is for them to go ahead and take their electronic waste, bring it to Ghana, and for people of Ghana, primarily children, to dispose of the electronic computers, cell phones, in a way that is not safe and that is not sustainable for their environment and also for the global environment as a whole. These children often use rocks to beat the phones. They often use different materials or different tools that they can find to break down computers, which often opens up the computers to produce and to let go of toxic gases, different things that they're going to be exposed to that they're inherently breathing in, which affects their public health, which also affects the air quality in their small villages and communities. While this idea of disposing of this waste is, cost effective for the United States and European countries because we can pay less money to get something disposed and, continue to create these electronic products, it is actually detrimental because this improper disposal is affecting the public health and the air quality. We have to reconsider these things, and we cannot compromise public health and the quality of air for the sake of a few dollars being saved. That's basically quantifying a human life in compared to an electronic or compared to a service, which is asinine if you ask me personally. This is why there are strong opponents to the dependency theory, the theory that we learned earlier in the semester, because less industrialized countries in the South are often taken advantage of by well-established nations of the North. And this is a perfect example of that. The United States and European countries know that Ghana has a very unstable or less stable economic climate. Therefore, they use that mindset of a lower poverty, the Ghanaians wanting to create better lifestyles for themselves, and use that and manipulate that by allowing them to dispose of things improperly. Instead of using the power in the North of the United States and Europe to actually come up with positive ways and productive ways to dispose of this electronic waste in a proper way, and that's not being done. Another example of this is the water wars that we learned about this past week in Bolivia and the privatization of water. The water privatization was only instituted because of the scarcity of water. Why did water become scarce? Well, because of climate change, because of the varying degree of the earth growing hotter, more heat island effects in global cities. You have water and more tsunamis and hurricanes happening every single day based on the different gases and things that are being produced in our air and that are affecting our total global climate. So when you think about all of these things and how they boil down to water, the scarcity of water, we see the water wars that happened in Bolivia. This privatization of water ended up resulting in a revolt from lower income citizens who were unable to afford the water. Therefore, they had no access to clean water. This type of imbalance of economic development over environmental considerations causes social disruptions and could ultimately be avoided completely if we just focus more so on having factors in place and things in place that improve the quality of water, that can increase the quality of water, that can also make clean water, that we can provide a new outlet for water to not be privatized. Water is the very factor that is essential to all life on earth, and it in our current global cities, and even those that are going to be developing in the future, rely heavily on this. In conclusion, having a hands-off approach to environmental concerns is not going to benefit anyone in our global economies because they are literally dependent on the stability of our environment. Without the stability of our environment, we are going to fail. And so we have to place more economic considerations when developing our economic cities. Thank you.